Hello gang, this is John McCririck and I want to welcome you to episode 15, 10 and 5, episode 15 of the Ask Big Mac show. Now before I started, make sure you subscribe, and I always say this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Somehow it's stuck up there, so I've got it and I've pointed to it. Now okay booby, let's get on with the show. What's the first question? And I want one that's sort of intrusive. I want one to question me, to storm my brain. Get brainstorming, booby.
Right, well, this might be a bit difficult. Steve Mullington, Muldog from Twitter, asks, how could ITV bring the fun back to racing coverage?
Yeah, that's, well, first of all, how amazing it is that Channel 4 have lost the contract. They've had 3 years of it, and it's entirely down to viewers' power. They have spoken. The viewing figures for Channel 4 racing has fallen by more than 25%. A cataclysmic fall in the viewing figures. You can imagine the viewing figures have gone up 25%. No question of changing the contract. The incumbents would have kept it, and there'd be great celebrations, another 4 years of being done by the IMG, the production company. But because of the failure of the viewing figures, whatever you think of the product, however good you may think it is, and a lot of it is very good, put out by Channel 4, the viewers have done the talking. So what now ITV have got to think about is how can they change it. Now I remember ITV, because the very first broadcast I ever did from a betting ring was ITV when they covered the Derby in 1981, Shergar's Derby. No rehearsals, no going to small meetings to learn what to do and camera angles and all that kind of thing. First time stuck in the betting ring, Shergar's Derby. I hope nobody's got a recording of that because that was an absolute, but on my part it was an absolute shambles. But ITV brought so much pizzazz to it. We had first meetings, I remember, in January before the June Derby, and they were talking about who they were going to get, and they were trying to get Elizabeth Taylor and the President of the United States and all that kind of thing. It didn't quite get down to come to that high level, but they put so much into it, and ITV are the channel that really attracts the public, and that's been the problem with Channel 4. When your viewing figures fall 25%, you're not attracting new viewers to watch. All you're doing is losing so many, and that is terrible for racing. The betting bookmakers are complaining how much the betting on racing is down. One of the reasons of the fall of the betting turnover, one of the reasons is the failure of Channel 4 to bring in new people and attract people to watch the television, have a bet and enjoy racing. So the problem for ITV is how they bring in the fun into it. And that's a big word. I think this fun is so important. Of course racing is serious. Money is involved more than any other sport, maybe football as well, as far as punting is concerned and betting. But that doesn't mean that you can't have fun. And what they miss so much on Channel 4 now is John Frankham. Because his lightness of touch and his style and his wispy understanding of what was going on. John Frankham is so missed. And they've got to bring the fun back in it without dumbing down. That's a huge problem. People were saying, well, what about bringing Ant and Dec back, who win every award and the most popular presenters the world's ever known, that kind of thing. But people in racing would say, what do they know about racing? So there is a credibility issue that ITV have got, but they've got to bring the fun, the light-heartedness back into it, but also the serious one. I always like to compare it with the cricket. When you think of, first of all, what was the Channel 4 cricket, and now it's the Sky cricket, absolutely brilliant. The commentary is terrific. They have Beefy there and Bumble there and all the light-hearted banter, but they never miss a ball. The stats are all available, so you can mix the two, and that's what I think ITV have got to do. So it's a huge challenge, but the failure of Channel 4 to increase the audience and even to hold the audience has been so detrimental to racing. And we are very near now in becoming a sort of off-sport that nobody cares about. Speedway, show jumping, used to be absolute prime time on BBC. Now, who hears of Speedway? Who hears of show jumping? Because they're off the terrestrial television. So this is the last chance for racing. Obviously, Royal Ascot will always be covered. Cheltenham, the Grand National, they'll always be covered. But the general interest in racing is dependent upon terrestrial television. So ITV is the best hope we've got. I think they'll do a tremendous job because that is how they attract their viewers, by bringing in people in who weren't watching before. So I rely on ITV. I think they'll do a fantastic job, and I harken back to when I was with them. the energy that they brought and the inventiveness they brought to the racing was really riveting to watch. So I go along ITV, where Channel 4 has failed. Not that I'm saying Channel 4 has failed, the viewers say it. So Channel 4 has failed. ITV bring the fun back into the game, and I'm sure they will. Booby, question number 2.
Number 2, Kip from Twitter asks, Matt, what is your opinion of Donald Trump and his divisive opinions?
I'll give you asked a very difficult question. Well, let's look at the Donald Trump sort of scenario. There's 2 aspects to this. Donald Trump, first of all, has to win the GOP nomination. So he's got to be nominated by the party. That's what he's after now, the party stalwarts, the grassroots. So that's the hard right of America, or the grassroots of the Republican Party. So he's got to appeal to them, and then he's got to appeal, if he gets the nomination, then he's got to appeal to a wider section of America, hold his heartlands, of course he will, against, of course, Hillary Clinton, who's going to be the Democrat nomination. So you've got to see that Donald Trump, one great thing in his favour is name recognition. Politicians would crave the recognition that Donald Trump has got. He did The Apprentice, one of the top programs in America for about 10 or 12 years, whatever it was. He's built his Trump towers and his Trump hotels. The Trump name is everywhere, recognised everywhere. The hairstyle alone gets him that recognition. He's got that huge advantage in America. It's so important, name recognition. The downside for him is that the apparatchiks of the Republican Party, they don't want him. They want the Beltway, inside the Beltway, the Washington group, having somebody who is a governor or a senator or a congressman, something like that, of the hardcore of the party. Now, my God, keep quiet there. That was Hayes. Hayes, keep quiet. Oh, the dog's causing trouble now. Booby, keep the dogs quiet. So he's got to, the hardcore of the party don't want him, so they will do all they can to keep Trump out, but his figures are holding up in the opinion polls. And of course he comes out with some weird wacko ideas. There are plenty of decent policies that most of us would agree with: cut taxes, get the government out of our lives, the private enterprise. And remember, Donald Trump has run a business empire. He's done things that none of the other candidates or possible candidates have done. They're mostly career politicians who've sort of done odd jobs here and there. Here's Donald Trump, who's run a multi-billion-pound hotel empire and business empire. So Donald Trump has done it. He knows how business works. And of course he's got tens of thousands of people working for him, of all races, of all creeds, of all religions. No one's ever complained that they won't work for him because he's racist. He doesn't only employ white people or black people or Asian people or whatever else it is. Muslims, Jews, Catholics, whatever it is. Nobody's ever said that about him. But now, for political reasons, he's tapping in to this terrible fear that Muslims have given to the world because of what has happened in their name, in the name of Islam, what has happened with all the bombings and the shootings and the terrorists. There's no doubt I would not like to be a Muslim living in this country or any other non-Muslim country, because you're looked upon. You can see people sort of whispering and staring. You go on a flight and people are worried there's a Muslim and his family there. They're perfectly innocent. They've done nothing wrong. No intention of doing anything wrong, but there is the fear that these few Islamic State people and the few fanatics have brought to the religion of Islam. So Donald Trump has tapped into that. But to say that one whole race of people can't visit the United States is absolutely absurd. Most Muslims have nothing to do with the fanaticism that's going on, know nothing about it, do abhor it. So it is a horrible thing to happen that you are not being persecuted, but you are being picked upon just because you happen to be a particular race or a particular religion. Trump is tapping into that. But one would hope that if he gets the nomination, he's got the grassroots support, I think he'll be a terrific candidate. And I think one thing we have got to do, we've got to beat Hillary Clinton, who is so left-wing. Hillary Clinton, her period as Secretary of State, the failures she's had in the policies that she's pursued. So beat Hillary Clinton, let's get Donald Trump. But you do abhor what is going on this Muslim issue. It really is very, very unacceptable to be doing that. Anyway, Donald Trump for president, provided he waters one or two things down and keeps his hairstyle as it is. Booby, question number 3.
Dominic Riley from Facebook asked the final question. Do you have a Breeders' Club Classic winner?
Well, one Breeders' Cup that I will never ever forget was Gulfstream Park in 1999, Dale Lamy and Frankie Dettori. Now this goes back a year to Churchill Downs, where Frankie was on the favourite Swain and rode in he would admit a terrible race, whip in the wrong hand, careered across the course at Churchill Downs. Swain should have won the Breeders' Cup that year. So Dale Lamy comes to Gulfstream, and of course Dale Lamy had run previously 3 weeks before in the Arc, way down the field in the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. The reason for that is that the ground was far too soft. They should never have run him there, but they brought him over. Great form Dale Lamy had, striking grey and everything like that. But Frankie was under such pressure because of his ride on Swain. And he was, he wasn't the normal buoyant Frankie beforehand. The press were all questioning him, and Swain came up in every interview and everything like that. But there's a very hard, tough, steely determination in Frankie Dettori. You see the Italian ice cream salesman jumping off horses and shrieking and screaming. That's one side of it. But underneath it, he's a tough, hard man, and he was determined to show it. And of course, I was going on the NBC television, shouting, "Dale Lamy's the one. Ignore the run in the Arc. This is the horse for the Classic." And it was a superb win. The grey flew through. It was the first Godolphin winner of the Breeders' Cup. Sheikh Mohammed had plenty of other winners, but the first Godolphin winner was Dale Lamy in '99. And Frankie's sheer exuberance, his sheer joy at winning, and the way he could say, "There you are. You blame me for Swain. Look at this. I can ride." We all knew that. But it was a real sort of gotcha moment. I'm back. You forget what's happened in the past. Dale Lamy. So, didn't we rejoice? And it was a thrilling day. Gulfstream Park, sun shone, Dale Lamy won. Frankie was exuberant. Absolutely brilliant Breeders' Cup Classic that was. So, thank you all for watching. Now make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep sending in your questions on Twitter @RealMcCririck and Facebook/RealMcCririck by adding #AskBigMac. And if I didn't answer your question this week, it might be next week, it might be next month, it might be next year, it might be in the year 3015 or 3016, you never know, but get them in now. Give me a chance, and the booby could ask your question to me.